Alrighty. We got a Tom Brady kind of clip here that's been kind of trending today early this morning. And it's just Tom Brady kind of talking about, quarterbacks kind of getting bailed out by the refs because the quarterbacks throw some like inaccurate passes that lead the receivers into dangerous positions that the defenders take advantage of by laying out a big hit, and then the defenders get kind of flagged for roughing the roughing the quarterback or roughing the receiver or whatever. What's the official penalty? Geez. Um, I don't even know. I'm blanking. Y'all know what I mean though. Unnecessary roughness. There it is. Defenders getting unnecessary roughness calls on receivers because the quarterback, was inaccurate with the ball. It was still complete, and it still goes down as a completion, but the quarterback could have made a safer throw, so the receiver didn't get lit up. So the defender didn't kind of have a perfect target zone to hit the receiver in. That ended up drawing the penalty. So I wanted to bring up this quote, or in this, what Tom Brady's saying here is because, this is why we look at every single throw and why we judge and critique every single throw. Yes, we look at the stats, completion percentage, we do kind of weigh big, but we also look at every single individual throw and critique these individual throws to kind of see what these quarterbacks are truly in games, and not just looking at the stats and saying, oh, he's got 67% completion percentage, he's absolutely fantastic. But when we look at his film and, all the balls are, way out to the left and way out to the right and making the receiver kind of extend over the middle, which receivers don't want to do. We can just bring it back to Mitch Trubisky and Allen Robinson last year. Mitch Trubisky has some good stats on paper, but when we see the balls that he was throwing to Allen Robinson, Allen Robinson was literally sacrificing his body on the majority of the throws by Mitch Trubisky because Mitch Trubisky was not 100% accurate. And that's what Tom Brady's getting at right here. You need to really be 100% accurate with the ball so you don't get your receiver into a big hit situation that really could injure him and knock him out for a game, the entire season, his entire career. So Tom Brady was putting the emphasis on the great quarterback play that really should be in the league, and saying that, the refs are actually kind of penalizing great quarterback play overall because they're bailing out those bad kind of inaccurate passers with big penalties defensively that pick up the first down and move the chains, and then just kind of enable those quarterbacks to continue to throw inaccurate balls that set up the receiver in a bad position on the field to take a real big giant hit that could potentially, injure those players. So, we do everything for a reason here, folks. We look at the film, we look at the stats, we look at what people are saying, we analyze all that information to come up with our own takes, and that's all what we say here. We don't say anything for no reason. We have the stats, we have the film, we have the highlights, we have just the overall narratives that have been said by the national media and just fan bases and what's trending on Twitter. We have all this information. We comb through all this information. We absorb and look at it and just analyze and talk about all this information daily on the show, and then we come up with our takes based on the evidence, the entire body of work presented to us. So when we talk about quarterback play and who we like and who we don't like, and we've got this quarterback list here that we are going to have to update right before the season starts. This is on our list to do before September 9th when the season actually begins. But when we kind of rank our quarterbacks, we're doing everything. It's not just the stats. We're looking at the film. We're looking at how accurate they are. Yes, it was a completion, but could it have been a little bit better? Was it a completion because the defender wasn't turned around and wasn't playing the ball? Was the ball way underthrown, but the wide receiver was way open? That's why we didn't really love Mac Jones that much coming into this season, because he was in Alabama last season with the star-studded offensive cast, and we know college defenses are absolutely trash for the most part. Totality wise, they may have one good defensive lineman or a good corner or a good linebacker, maybe two good defenders out of the 11 starters on defense. So, when we were watching Mac Jones, and yeah, his stats last season were absolutely fantastic, but when we watched the film, everything was wide open because Devontae Smith was a great route runner, because Jalen Waddle was always getting wide open, because those players were making it easy for Mac Jones to have, 15-yard completions that are wide open, because the defense is once again not great. And, we just didn't think that was going to translate to the NFL. But here we are. It is kind of getting it done. So shout out to Mac Jones. But we just try to watch everything. And, that's kind of what Tom Brady was kind of saying here. Yes, it may look accurate and it may go down as a completion, and that completion percentage may be good. But, there's different levels of accuracy. You could put it 100% on the money, or it's a little wide, but the receiver made a good catch. He extended. It could have been a little bit high, but the receiver went up and got it. I mean, you can put the ball, there's one place to throw the ball on every single throw. Only one that's 100% accurate. And most of the time that doesn't happen. And that's just kind of even Tom Brady isn't 100% accurate 100% of the time. But it goes into our thinking. Are they, more accurate at that kind of 100% accuracy more of the time, less of the time, majority of the time, something like that? In between that, whatever it is. So that's just kind of what we do here on the show. Obviously, we like to break down everything, and I think this was a good quote here by Tom Brady. So if you haven't heard it, it's on our tweets. It's been going around Twitter. It's some solid insight by the greatest quarterback of all time. So he knows what he's talking about. So we'll go with that, because he knows what he's talking about. So, all right. So that's Tom Brady. All right. What else?